Did you think I'd forgotten you, insect?
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get into the video. It is finally happening. System Shock 3 has been confirmed. Cue round of applause and cheers and all of that. I'm so happy about this news. It is quite unbelievable. I'm a massive fan of the original System Shock franchise, and to be honest with you, I'm a big fan of Bioshock as well. Less so number 2, but Infinite, Bioshock 1, I think they've had some really great atmosphere. I really like the stories, the worlds that's been crafted. Rapture is amazing, but, you know, just System Shock 2, it's one of the spookiest games that you can play, and it really is immersion personified. So, the countdown website for System Shock 3 was put up recently, but people delved into the code and they figured out, yes, it is System Shock 3. And now it has been fully and completely and utterly officially confirmed by Night Dive. So Night Dive, of course, recently acquired the full rights to the System Shock franchise and are working on a remake of the original System Shock, which is actually really good. I never played the original System Shock. Well, I did technically, but very briefly around a friend's house. But I did play System Shock 2, of course. So, in a recent interview with Fast Company, System Shocks, they are indeed working with the original artist behind System Shock, and essentially they're reimagining the designs for the remake. And they said, and I quote, "Seeing the difference between his artistic abilities back then compared to now and his ability to reinterpret those ideas is really exciting." But, of course, that was a remake of number 1, and while that was excellent news, we did want to see what happened with the storyline of System Shock. And we don't know much, as I said. The main thing we know is that SHODAN is going to be back, and she's probably not very happy with us, hence the "did you think I'd forgotten you" insect. Now, there has been a recent poll that was popped up, and essentially asked a series of questions. You did get to be entered into a competition which would allow you to win a limited edition SHODAN print, but essentially it asked you a few questions, not many. 1 was your age, 2 was, do you like virtual reality? Like, is that something that you're interested in? Now, obviously, that's pretty critical because let's, for the sake of argument, say that 80% of the responders said, yeah, I'm like, you know, you basically can rate it up to 10, a scale of 10. So let's say everyone rated it, or 80% of people rated it like an 8 or a 9. Then you can almost bet the developers are probably going to want to develop the title with that in mind. And I think System Shock with virtual reality, oh my god, people are going to have heart attacks. Anyway, there are a few other questions like what is your preferred platform of choice to game on? And obviously you can imagine what those platforms are. I don't think I need to describe those to you. But it's going to be interesting. What I'm hoping is that, and I'm going to sound a bit elitist here, maybe, but I'm really hoping it's not toned down too much. And I don't mean in terms of the atmosphere or any of that jazz. I'm hoping that the game remains as complex as it originally was released as, with System Shock 2. Maybe I would like to see a few tweaks, and maybe not have weapons degrade as much as previous games. Like in System Shock 2, the weapons degraded really fast, and obviously the developers did fix some of this with patches, and you could also get some unofficial patches which helped things some. But honestly, I'm amazingly hyped for this. The amount of speculation that you could put up and you could put together for this, in my opinion, and this is probably an opinion shared by many, I actually think SHODAN, in terms of an antagonist, is probably one of the best in media history. And when I say media history, I'm not just referring to video games. I personally believe that there are some characters in the gaming media which are just like, when I describe them, I don't just say, yeah, they're really good for a video game, because in my opinion, that sounds like you're giving video games a disservice It's like, yeah, it's pretty good for a video game. That's like, there, it's okay. You know, you're just giving video games a pat on the head. No, in my opinion, I think Shodan, Kreia from Knights of the Old Republic 2, and some other characters as well, are absolutely fantastic antagonists, regardless of the media that they are from. And I've always loved Shodan. I love the I guess you could say glitchy voice. I love her attitude. I love the entire immersion that the universe puts together, and I think it's going to be absolutely fantastic. I would love to know which engines they're going to be using. I can only assume it's going to be a more modern one. Let's say, for the sake of argument, System Shock has a fairly decent heritage when it comes to art direction and the like, but the original System Shock 1 and 2, particularly 2, wasn't really that gorgeous when it was released. I think that the worlds didn't look too bad, but the models, even at the time when you first played them way back in late 90s, they weren't that impressive. I mean, they weren't awful or anything, but they didn't really set your world alight. Bioshock Infinite, amongst others in the Bioshock franchise, have of course been crafted with the Unreal Engine in mind, and there are some who have kind of ported it, fan-made ports to the latest Unreal Engines, but that doesn't really make much difference to us. I wouldn't be surprised, however, given that they are probably putting this title together with a fairly tightish budget, that they probably won't bring themselves the effort and the time, basically, to port or create an engine from the scratch. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see Unreal Engine 4. I mean, there are other alternatives, but I think UE4 would probably be the one that they would go with. I'm hoping so anyway. It's not that Unity, for the sake of argument, or the CryEngine are bad, but I think UE would probably be the one that they would go for underneath it all, which is fine. Oh God, it's just going to be really cool. But the worst part about all of this, of course, is that we're going to have to wait a while. I mean, if they're only announcing the game, and they are, it's fair to say, given their previous comments, I mean, it wasn't too long ago that it was hinted that they wanted to go ahead and make System Shock 3, but they needed a bigger publisher. In other words, they needed more money, they needed more funding behind them, which is, to be fair, okay and acceptable, because let's face it, it's a big project, it's a large undertaking. You don't want to be underfunded when going and attempting to create something like System Shock 3. So I can only speculate on the percentage of through that they are in terms of development, but I'm going to assume it's probably not that far through. It's probably past the planning stages, maybe. They might have done some planning, but they probably haven't done much in terms of actually creating the game or anything like that, which is a shame, but I'd rather they take the time and release it in 2017. That's not a release date from the developers or anything like that. I'm just purely speculating, and say that, hey, we see it in 2017 or late 2016 or maybe even 2018, but have the game be absolutely what we expect. I mean, jeez, just imagine playing this thing with virtual reality. I'm not one of those people that love virtual reality, but I also don't hate it. I'm in the camp that I think virtual reality, and this is something that I was discussing with a viewer the other day, actually, and I personally believe that virtual reality is not for all games. I think it just doesn't work with all games. That's just my opinion. But horror games, System Shock 3, jeez, it would be like, it would be so intense. I think it would be absolutely phenomenal. I can't even describe how happy I am with this. This is absolutely fantastic. So, as usual, stick around, and I guess we'll find out more soon. I mean, there's a lot of questions with the storyline, like what would happen, how is Shodan still here, what is her purpose at this point? I'm probably gonna guess nefarious. I don't think she's planning to give like milk and cookies to us, which would be nice of her, but I don't feel that that's living up to her previous actions. So I guess it kind of depends, like, is it still going to be on a space station? Are we going to be seeing her maybe come closer to Earth? Is she going to be like infecting other systems? And you know, are you going to be alone like last time? It was like, in my opinion anyway, the desolation of System Shock 2 was what did it. And you know, just the little touches, like the data pads, the holo pads that you were reading, the messages and the blood and the corpses you would find in the disfigured disfigured people who were absolutely butchered and absolutely being taken over by this madness. I think that's what made the game really stick out. So I wonder if they're going to continue that. I imagine so. It would make sense. I think I don't think they're going to go shooty bang bang, and by which I don't think they're going to make it like COD of Shock 3, which would, in my opinion, absolutely suck. And this is a criticism that I've leveled on Bioshock. I think Bioshock 1 did a fairly good job when it comes to atmosphere. I think at times the pacing was a little off, but generally I think the original... yeah, I would say the original Bioshock pretty much nailed it. At times I think about the 2/3 of the way through the game, maybe halfway-ish, I feel that the pacing kind of screwed up for a little, but then kind of got back to normal, and that was fine. Bioshock, Shock 2 I'd never really played much. I got about halfway through the game, and it's not that it was bad, I just kind of felt that we'd done a lot of it before. Bioshock Infinite, as many will know because I've played it fully on the channel, especially the DLC, I felt it was good, but there were two things that bugged me. I did not like the ending. It's not that I found it complex or I didn't understand it, I just felt a bit... I just wasn't really feeling it. I felt that the story was getting really strong and then felt a bit of a cop-out, at least in my opinion. And also, I found that the plasmids and weapon systems, it just got way overpowered. And at times you just didn't really feel that you were trying. You know, you could... Basically, the plasmids and the weapons just made some areas absolutely trivial, and some of the powers were just way overbalanced. But obviously, that's Bioshock. System Shock is obviously by different developers now, and I feel that they probably won't do this stuff. I feel that they probably will stick to the more horror routes, which in my opinion would absolutely be fantastic. So what would you like out of this one? Tell me. Reveal your darkest secrets to me. For no other reason, it'll just be interesting. Yeah, I just want... What would you like? I'm assuming you'd probably like it to stay kind of faithful-ish to the roots. Obviously update it, have the latest graphics with the better physics and all of that stuff. That's pretty obvious. The sound design, even System Shock 2, was amazing. I mean, yeah, it didn't have the 7.1 surround sound, which is gonna, you know, blow your pants off if you shot a bullet kind of level, but it was still really impressive. It was the subtle sounds and the lack of sounds which actually made System Shock scary. It was you can hear someone moaning and you can hear this like crazy sound of someone going absolutely insane and talking to themselves and, you know, about the voices and all that stuff, but you didn't know where they were, and it was implied. There was a lot of implied atmosphere, so it's not that, look at this thing, rawr, I'm coming out of a cupboard, I'm going to eat your face. It was more subtle. It was more, you know there's something in that room. You don't know whether it's a turret, you don't know whether it's, you know, a zombie, you don't know whether it's a trap, you don't know whether it's something good. There might be something good in there. There might be like health, or there might be new weapons, or there might be a whole lot of ammo, or something like that. You know there's something in that room, but it's unknown, and that was what made System Shock and System Shock 2 really scary. It was the fact that you didn't know what was coming through the next corridor, and it was like the early Resident Evil 1 and 2. Resident Evil 1 and 2, it was the unknown factor, it was that fear of the unknown that really got you, and Silent Hill was the same. You didn't know what would happen when you went into that new door. You didn't know what creatures were going to be lurking, or whether you were going to get like a save room, or whether you were going to get power-ups. And System Shock, in my opinion, was the king of that. You just did not know what was lurking in that new corridor. You did not know what was lurking in that cupboard, or the, you know, whether that turret was going to shoot you to shit, or whether a hidden weapon cache, and you had to scour everything. You had to check the trash bins, you had to check behind the desks and all the drawers, and it was that type of a game, and so I'm really hoping that we keep some of that. Anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed the video. I'll see you soon. Can you tell that I'm kind of enthusiastic about this game? Can ya? Can ya? Can ya? Anyway, hopefully I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye for now.